Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Kevin and this is the Wrenchin' Fool. So in this video we're here in my 2022 Hyundai Ioniq 5. It is the limited all-wheel drive version with the 20-inch wheels, and we're going to be doing a 500-mile challenge today. This is probably the first time ever, really, that I've actually been concerned about doing one of these 500-mile challenge videos.
So I removed a section of the video here doing editing because it was talking about charger reliability and how I have to use Electrify America for these 500-mile challenge videos because they're the only ones in Oregon that do greater than 62 kilowatt charging. And I just had a really negative experience with them recently, but it just got a little bit long-winded, so I cut it out, but I thought it was still important to mention. Anyway, back to the video.
I don't know what's going to happen this trip. It's either going to be a good clean test where we'll get a good result, or it will be an instance where my concerns get validated. Either way, you're going to come along for the ride, so let's get going. We have arrived here at the Electrify America station here in Springfield, Oregon. We're here at 46%. Obviously, the car does not need to charge or stop, but I did. I needed to use the restroom pretty desperately, so I figured I would be smart and stop here at this station. But, well, so it looks like they replaced all the hardware, but it's still all offline. It hasn't been started up and commissioned yet, so of course I'm not able to charge here. I did go in and use the restroom, obviously, but between taking this detour, getting off the freeway, getting stuck in the construction traffic that I didn't know was there, and of course coming to a charger here that I wasn't expecting to stop at and therefore didn't check to see if it was actually working, we've probably lost at least 15 or 20 minutes of time. And then, of course, the time I spent going into the bathroom. So me needing to use the restroom, getting stuck in construction traffic, coming to a charger that doesn't work, none of that is the car's fault. And so it shouldn't be held against the car as far as its time to do this trip. So anyway, I'm going to get back on the road. We're going to keep heading to our regularly scheduled first stop, which I have verified is actually working. And we'll meet back up there. All right, we made it here to our first official stop here at the Electrify America in Sutherlin, Oregon. We got here with 11% left in the battery, traveled 165 miles, and we've been averaging 2.6 miles per kilowatt hour, which, if you're wondering, is pretty bad. But, you know, welcome to efficiency in the Ioniq 5, especially in the winter. So I got plugged in here. We're charging slowly, as to be expected. The don't have the battery preconditioning update, and the battery was at about 8 degrees Celsius when I arrived. So I'm not sure what the best strategy is going to be for this, but I think what I'm going to try, since the battery is going to be cold basically every time we plug in, is to try and sit here, let the battery warm up, and charge to a relatively high state of charge, maybe around 80% when it would normally start to really drastically slow down. Because once the battery warms up after 10 or 15 minutes, we get pretty good charging speeds. It's just a matter of getting there. So I could probably sit here for 10 or 15 minutes and charge enough to get to the next stop, but then I'm losing out on all of that higher charging speeds that I probably won't get when I get to the next charger. So I'm going to sit here and charge for quite a while, again, by Ioniq5 standards, probably to about 80%, and then we'll move on to the next charging station. All right, we've been here for just, let's see, 30 minutes. We've been here for 30 minutes. Charging speeds are just starting to drop just as we're just getting to 80%. So I'm going to unplug and let's go. Here we are at the next charging stop. We're at Grants Pass, Electrify America. We got here with 17%. We're actually on the return trip now. Charging up as normal. The battery has cooled off again. It's back down. The minimum temperature is back down to 10 degrees. That makes sense, unfortunately, because temperatures dip down into the mid 30s on the trip going up through the pass here. And then, of course, the Ioniq has the capability of scavenging heat from the battery when it's using the heat pump. So that, of course, cools the battery down quite a bit as well. The charger to my right over here is actually in a complimentary session. I chose not to use that one because with the Ioniq5, I already get the first 30 minutes free anyway, and we're not going to be here for 30 minutes. So I figured I'd leave that one open for somebody else. The app shows one of the chargers is unavailable, but I think it's just that one that's in the complimentary session mode. It's actually available. It says it's working, but the app shows it is down. So this is a rare occasion where potentially all of the charging stations here work. Anyway, I need to go in the Walmart, use the restroom, maybe get something to drink. We're at 57%. Our charging speed has dropped down to 127 kilowatts. This is enough to get us to our next stop. I'm going to stop us, get us back on the road. right, we're here at the final charging stop for the night, back at Sutherlin, Oregon, Electrify America, here at the Dairy Queen. We got here with 24%, so I did overcharge a bit last time. A bit of a calculation error, or I should say not a calculation error, but a prediction of our efficiency error. I was expecting to be getting about 2.5 miles per kilowatt on this trip back because I was expecting it to get cold, and it didn't happen. It's still the same temperature now that it was when I was here earlier today when it was light out. So yeah, our efficiency on this trip back was 2.7 miles per kilowatt hour. I was expecting 2.5. But I am not going to discount any time for that because I consider that to be the fault of the car, because the car leaves me to guess how much I should charge up. There's no route planning in this car. So we're plugged in here. The battery cooled down again, as expected. It's down to 13 degrees Celsius. So I've got some food here. I'm starving. I'm ready to eat. I'm going to charge up to probably 70 or 80%. I'll need to do that calculation and figure that out. But we'll be here for a little bit, at least long enough for me to get some food. We're charged up now to 72%. I actually calculated that we need 59% of the battery to get the 120 miles that we need to in order to finish this thing up. I meant to get out and unplug it at 70, but by the time I recorded all the numbers I needed to for my own information, got out there to unplug it, it was already charged up to 72%. Once the Ioniq gets charging at its full speed, it really cooks along. Like, it just knocks off the percentages really quickly. So anyway, we've got enough now to get everything done, get this whole trip finished up. So let's get back on the road and finish this thing up. All right, we have made it home. So we completed the 500 miles in 8 hours and 53 minutes. Now I'll put down a comparison down there at the bottom of the screen of how long it took to do the same trip during the summer in this car. So anyway, it's definitely slower driving in the winter, especially without the battery preconditioning. And that was the biggest reason that I wanted to do this trip now, before I've gotten the battery preconditioning update, because I want to see, after I get the update, what kind of a difference does that actually make in your travel times. If my memory serves me correctly, and the summertime 500 mile challenge was done in about 8 hours and 25 minutes, for us to only take about half an hour longer, considering that we don't have battery preconditioning, when we were starting off with really slow battery charging speeds for Ioniq5 standards, and we never saw the peak speed that the car is capable of, that's actually not that bad. I mean, it's not great, but it's not that bad. You know, half an hour over a 500 mile drive, you could just as easily spend that much time extra at a bathroom stop, you know, if you have a bad meal or something. We also ended the trip with 2.7 miles per kilowatt hour average efficiency over the entire trip. So again, not great, but it's about what I expected. It's actually slightly better than I expected from the Ioniq 5. So anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching.